All right, it's recording. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Tonight is the launch of Take Action Thursday, and I am so excited. You know, it is my honor to introduce this beautiful, I call her a little peanut. I don't know why. Anytime I think of Melissa Loucas, I think of putting her in my pocket and taking her with me everywhere. I absolutely love and adore her. But before we get started, you know, I just want to share with you a little bit about Take Action Thursday and why I really felt like, you know, when I went to a lot of the leaders, what we wanted to do here was to share a lot of tips and tricks, and motivation and inspiration, because when we think about action is a great restorer and builder of confidence, right? And so when Melissa's going to be sharing all these incredible things, you make sure you get your pen and your paper handy, because I know you're going to want to take tons of notes. And I want to read this quote to you before we get started, because I want Melissa to take this away, because I'm ready to learn myself. And I'm excited because every Thursday, we're going to have a different leader that's going to share different insight on, how they maybe became successful in their business, some tips and some motivation and inspiration. And I know for me, if you're not learning, you're not growing, right? So I wanted to read this quote from John Maxwell. The single biggest way to impact an organization is to focus on leadership development. There is almost no limit to the potential of an organization that recruits good people, raises them up as leaders, and continually develops them. I love that quote from John Maxwell. So that's what these Take Action Thursdays are going to do for all of us. So without further ado, I want to introduce to you Melissa Loucas. She's an incredible person. I've gotten the privilege to really get to know her a little bit better. We've talked several times, and I just love the value that she brings to my life. And I know that what she's going to be able to bring to all of us is some value, some inspiration, some motivation. So it's our privilege, our pleasure to have Melissa Loucas kicking off our very first Take Action Thursday launch. So everybody, let's hoot and holler for Melissa Loucas. Woo!
All right, Melissa.
Woo!
Go, Melissa!
Yay!
Go, Melissa!
Go, Melissa!
Okay, Melissa. So go ahead, Melissa, unmute yourself and take it away.
Oh my goodness. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Mama Judy. That was amazing. Thank you guys. Thank you. My hands are sweating. I'm all like a sweaty hot mess right now. I'm all nervous. You guys, my body is being so dramatic. It's not even funny. I just want to first of all thank you guys for taking time out of your busy evening just to get on this call. I know what that means. I'll kind of share a little bit about our family in a second, but I know what it means when you're taking the time away from your family or from dinner or from Netflix, whatever it may be, to unplug and to, check into your business. So I always want to honor you guys and thank you for that time that you're sitting here and sharing some time with me. I'm very honored. Okay, for those of you who don't know me, a little tiny bit about myself. My husband, Brendan, and I, we have a blended family with 5 kiddos. We each had 2 when we met, and then we have 1 together. So it is a circus up in here, like 24/7. Very, very busy. This is my 3rd network marketing company. Okay. Spoiler, I have taken the scenic route. Okay. The first 2 companies were basically a big hot mess. Okay. Early on, I realized, like, okay, this industry is pretty amazing. Like, you can actually create something really powerful for your family with this industry just by sharing your story. Now, my belief skyrocketed really on in this whole experience for me. This is like almost 9 years, by the way. But my success, however, did not. Okay, so we're just going to put that on the table. And I want to share with you guys what changed for me, what has happened. So before I get into a little bit more of my story, I want to just start by recognizing the fact that if you're here and you have taken the time out to tune into this call, you are growing a business, chances are there are probably many of you feel like you have purpose, right? You feel like you're meant to live a bigger life. You feel like you're meant to make a bigger impact than you have before. You guys, for a long time, it's been on my heart to help people. For a long time, it's been on my heart that I've been called to more in my life, okay? For many years, I felt like I just kept missing it. Like I wasn't finding my purpose. I wasn't finding my fit to where I actually stepped into that side, that purpose side that has been aching in my heart for a long time, to be honest with you guys. In my first company, I remember I was on a call like this and I was not very consistent in my business. I really didn't know what I wanted to create from it. I really didn't have a real huge belief or fire for it. But I was listening to somebody share their story, and this person's story impacted me more than anybody else has ever had because it was shared in a very real way. And I remember listening and I was crying and it was really all the feels. I was feeling it. But I had this moment in my heart feeling like, I know I'm meant to do that one day. I'm terrified. I have no freaking clue how that will happen, but I know in my heart I'm going to do that one day. So it's pretty crazy to have this happen full circle. It's been a long time, but for it to happen, it's just a real honor. So you guys, this is our story. A year and a half ago, we got started here. I was pregnant with the baby. Our kids, by the way, they are 10, 9, 9, 7, and 1.5. I'm like, okay, did I get it all? Yes. So when we got started here, I was pregnant with the baby, you guys. I had 5 weeks left of my pregnancy. My good friends, Nancy and Enrique, they told me about this Happy Coffee company, and I was like, I don't know about that. Sounds kind of cheesy. I'm just going to be honest, but I will take a look. And the truth is, the story, the reality that we were living is we were in a really tough spot financially. We were really excited. We were about to have a baby. But our financial situation was really, really difficult. My husband was out of work for 6 months that year. What that meant was savings account gone, credit cards completely racked up. Literally, I remember applying for a $500 extension on a credit card and I was denied. Okay. It was brutal. Credit scores down the toilet. Okay. I want you to understand where I was when we started. Wasn't sleeping very well, just really stressed out financially. Has anyone ever been in the situation where you go to the grocery store or you're going to Target or you're going wherever you're going and you slide that card and you're sweating because you're not really sure if it's going to decline? You're not really sure if it's going to go through, and you're kind of trying to mentally prepare yourself for what you're going to say just in case. Those of you who are responding yes in the comments, I want to commend you because it takes a lot of courage to be that vulnerable. Thank you for your truth. You guys, that was my reality, okay? Like big time pain point, okay? So when we got started here, I was terrified of starting over. Full transparency, I was really, really scared to start over and to share a product again, to share an opportunity with people because I was afraid, what if it doesn't work? What if, they don't love it? Or what if I can't help them, right? There were so many what ifs going on in my head, but I had to stop myself and think about, there's going to be a million what ifs, right? But about what I needed to make happen for my family and what I knew I needed to step into for my life, which was helping people. Those two things were very, very, very heavy on my mind and heavy in my heart. And so when I started to have those fears come into my mind, I started to think about all of the what ifs and what is this person going to think? And what is that person going to think? And, what is my network going to think? And all the things, right? I had to stop myself. I had to really check myself and think about, why am I doing this in the first place? It's for my family. I need to create a different reality for us. Nobody is coming to save me from my reality. Nobody is coming to change it for me. I have been praying for change for so long, and now that it's sitting right here in front of me, what am I going to do with that? And so I felt like I really had two options. Either I'm going to create a story of regret because I'm going to fall into my excuses. Been there, done that twice. Or I was going to take that and run with this opportunity, you guys, and drown out the noise, drown out the judgment, drown out the fear, drown out all of that stuff, and finally get really honest with myself and identify the things that I was allowing to hold myself back. For me personally, I was a chronic procrastinator. Like that was something I did a lot of. Be like, oh yeah, I got to do that. I'm going to do it tomorrow. Okay, maybe tomorrow. And it would never happen. Okay. I was really bad about doing the whole blame game, right? Oh, well, the kids, blah, 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 or well, this happened, or will that happen? I was really guilty of that in the past. And then the other thing that I was really guilty of is playing small. Again, we're going back to, for a long time, I've known in my heart that I'm meant for more. I'm meant to impact people. I'm meant to, step into a purpose greater than my own. And I've played small because of those things for a long time. So when I got started here, I wanted to identify those things. Okay, what has held me back in the past? Those were them, big time. Okay, I identified that and I decided I'm not going to do that anymore. I literally don't even have the option to do that anymore. I have to make something happen. And so I remember Ricky saying to me, Melissa, if you decide to run with this, you will not recognize your life a year from now. And those words stayed in my mind every single day after he said them. I was afraid to trust them in the beginning. Again, full transparency, because I had heard it all before. Like everyone and their mom said all the things in the past, right? I had heard it all before, so I was scared to trust again. But there was like this teeny tiny bit of hope in my heart that what if it's true here? Like, what if I could actually change things for my family? What if I didn't have to just do just enough to help us to get by, but what if I could change everything? And so I was having very honest conversations with myself, okay, you guys? And I think that there's value in that. I think it's important to have that with yourself. And I remember thinking, okay, my options are I could do just enough to, help out and make ends meet a little bit better. But I would probably still be complaining about the same things I wasn't happy about. My husband going to a job that he hated. He was constantly gone. We were constantly missing out on family time because of that. Struggling to pay the bills, things like that. And then I had this thought in my mind of, what if I could remove that too? Why not me? I've seen so many stories of people in the industry who've completely changed their lives. And I had that in my heart of, why not me? You guys, I didn't have a ton of belief when I got started. I certainly did not have the belief in myself. I actually had myself convinced that maybe I wasn't all that great at network marketing. Maybe I was a bad leader, straight up. Those were the thoughts I had in my head when I got started here. So what I had to do is I had to borrow the belief from others, you guys. And how I did that was by listening to stories, plugging into every stinking call I could get on, because I wanted to hear people's stories, because that's the stuff that fueled my heart. It fueled my belief in what we had, which in turn helped me to start believing in myself. I literally was just like, okay, one day at a time, put one foot in front of the other. We'll figure this out. And so what I discovered, you guys, is that people don't relate to perfection. Don't feel the need to be something. Don't feel the need to overthink things. All you got to do here is share your story. And if you don't have a story yet, I got started without even trying the product. I got started based on the trust of Nancy and Enrique. I'm like, I love you guys. You better not be lying to me about this coffee because I'm signing up for this business. Thank God they were not. And so I didn't have a ton of belief there, you guys. I had to borrow that from them. I had to borrow it from Ricky. I had to borrow it from all these stories that I was hearing, and to walk forward in faith and leave my fear behind, right? And so what I've discovered is the more real that we are when we're sharing our story, the more power it has. Okay, I'm going to give you an example. So like when you see somebody and maybe you haven't seen them in a while and they say, hey, so-and-so, hey, Melissa, how are you? And naturally, we usually just say, I'm good, thanks, how are you? Right? Lies. Why do we miss that opportunity for human connection? Okay, again, we're talking about vulnerability and courage with that. Okay, something that I found is when I'm just more real with people, it allows them to be more real with me. What I have learned is that you never want to disqualify somebody from this amazing product that we have. We have happy coffee, happy products, right? You don't know what's going on behind closed doors. When I first got started here, I kind of, in my head, I was thinking, okay, I could see why it makes sense. It's kind of like a weight loss thing or something. I could see why that could work. But what I didn't expect to happen is all of the stories that have flooded in about people who needed more happiness, people who were struggling with depression, and I had no clue. Behind closed doors, they were struggling with sadness, depression, anxiety. And so, you know, making sure that you're not disqualifying people, making sure that you're having a human connection, you're having a genuine conversation with people, it goes a long way. When I got started, I did not have like an amazing story to share in regards to my product experience. I was still pregnant. My interests were only going up. And all I had to share was, well, I was more patient with my kids. I had a really productive day. I think we were setting up Christmas that day. We had gotten a ton done that day, and that my husband had 50% less road rage. That is what I shared with people about my story. And again, it wasn't monumental, but it was real. Okay. And that's what got the ball rolling. You guys, what I have discovered is your magic is in your truth. Your magic is in your vulnerability. Your magic is in your ability to share your real story. Your polished version, your story that you want people to perceive you as, it doesn't carry the magic. The magic is in just sharing your story, wherever you're at in your story. Okay. Now, something else I discovered along the way is when I started to experience this coffee myself, and I started to realize, like, oh my goodness, this really is powerful. It helped me to avoid postpartum depression. I had some serious postpartum depression issues going on when I had my boys. Didn't realize that was going on until later. And then when I had Mila, I was happy. And I was not napping all the time, even though she was not sleeping at night. And I was excited about life, and I wasn't experiencing that unexplained like gloom and all of the stuff that comes after pregnancy, or just in general for a lot of people. And so I started to just really share that, and I started that urgency started to really build on the inside of me of, you guys, this is really special. And we are really so fortunate right now to have this opportunity in our hands, because a couple of the things that I've been taught to do, and I know that many of you do the same thing here, is you say two things. Do you drink coffee? And have you heard of the happy coffee everyone's been talking about? Okay. Side note, I didn't want to say that at first. I was like, I don't know if I want to say that. And then I checked myself and realized, you know what? Some really successful people who've helped a lot of people do this are who are teaching me. I'm going to humble myself enough to say the dang thing. Okay. So, we are so fortunate that all we're here to do is to share our story, to ask people, do you drink coffee? Have you heard of that happy coffee everyone's been talking about? Because guys, there's going to come a day where our products are a household name. Let that sink in. Okay. It puts like chills on my skin and fear in my heart. I'm not going to lie. Because there's going to come a day where people do know what happy coffee is. And we're going to be asking, hey, have you heard of that happy coffee everyone's been talking about? And they're going to be like, yep, my neighbor, my mom, my cousin, my church friends, yep, they're all drinking happy coffee. That's coming, you guys. And so that urgency is very alive and real in the way that I share my story, you guys. And so I want you to take that with you. You know, this is Take Action Thursdays, right? And so I want to talk about, like, obviously borrowing belief, you know, sharing my story with you, but also having that urgency to take action. Guys, what ended up happening for my family, because I skipped that part apparently, is what happened for us is by month 3, so by the way, we have 5 kids, right? I shared that with you guys. I was driving my 2012 Toyota 4Runner that I absolutely loved and I had paid off, and I was so proud of that. It didn't fit my whole family and the stroller. Okay. And so whenever we would go places, I either had to choose, okay, we drive 2 cars if we want to take the stroller, or we drive 1 car and I don't get a stroller. And that was a huge inconvenience for me, you guys. It's silly, but this is the truth. And so that was my first like big goal. Okay. I had this vision of like, I need to be able to afford, you know, a different vehicle to fit my family in so that we can, you know, experience this, not have to be so inconvenienced. And so I started to think about that all the time. What is it going to feel like when we get to be able to have that, when we get to experience that? What is it going to feel like when I go to Target and I am not fearful that the card's going to be declined? What will it feel like to put my head on the pillow at night and not have to stress out about how we're going to pay the bills next month? What is it going to feel like when I don't have to say goodbye to my husband when he goes to work, knowing that he hates his job, and then having to wait when he gets home, you know, at whatever time that would be? What will it feel like when we get there? That's the piece that I got really, really obsessed with when I got started. I wanted more than anything to not carry that financial burden anymore. I wanted more than anything to be able to sleep at night and let go of some of that anxiety that I was carrying around. I wanted more than anything to feel as though I was making an impact, not only just for my family, but for others as well. I became really obsessed with that, you guys, you know. And so while I was washing my hair, or shaving my legs, or going for a walk, or doing whatever I was doing, I was constantly thinking of how can I help people? Who can I help today? You know, the conversation in my head was not, gosh, I need to get another customer. The conversation happening in my head was, who can I help today? Who needs this? Who do I need to have a conversation with? Who do I need to get bold with? And I'm going to tell you guys, in the beginning, it was scary to share this. It was scary to be bold. It was scary to ask those questions. Do you drink coffee? Have you heard of the happy coffee everyone's talking about? I was fearful of judgment at first. But I knew that I had to ask those questions. I knew that I had to get bold. And I knew in my heart that more than anything, I needed to change the reality for my family. That's what I got obsessed with, what it would feel like when we did that. And let me tell you guys, when we were finally able to upgrade and get a Suburban, and now all the kids fit and the stroller fits, it was the most amazing thing. And getting to hear the kids like in their excitement, and they were so happy about it, and like every little detail, the things I didn't expect them to notice, you know, like this is really nice seats, and you know, the silly little things. Guys, it meant so much to me, you guys. And it was because I was super obsessed with, okay, what is that feeling that I want to create for myself and for my family? And that's what I ran with. It was the urgency of people are going to find out about this. And I got to make sure that I'm the one to tell as many as I can. And anybody that I bring into this business tells as many as they can. Okay. That's been the urgency in my mind and in my heart. And then just being willing to share the story. So that was about month 3. We were able to get the Suburban. Okay. And we were still not where we needed to be, but it was enough to get us there. I kept working really, really hard. And by month 7-ish, I was able to bring my husband home. We do this full time together, you guys. And I'm not going to just say, oh, it's just easy. I just threw a Facebook post up every now and then, and it just happened. No, I got really bold. I went through my contact list, and I was, you know, looking through my contacts, like, you know, who of my friends drinks coffee? Who of my friends do I have this relationship built up enough that I can send them a text message and say, hey girl, you're still obsessed with coffee, right? And many of them replied with, duh, yes, of course I am. But being willing to be very bold and initiate those conversations. Do you drink coffee, or are you still drinking coffee? You guys, example today, this works in person or in social media, okay? I want you to know that. We do a lot of social media. I teach a lot of social media because I have 100 kids, and it's just easier for me to navigate social media because my kids could be screaming and I can get my post out there and it's fine. It's a little harder to do that having a conversation in person. So, but you can do it in person or on social media or through text message or through phone call. It's pretty much all the same thing. Okay. Today we had some guys come in, some awesome guys come in and help us do some steam cleaning on our floors. Okay. Again, 5 kids. And so, they were here, and my husband asked the owner, his name's Joe, super talkative, nice, friendly guy. He says, "Hey Joe, do you drink coffee?" Joe's like, "Yeah, I do. I love coffee." "Hey man, have you heard of that happy coffee everyone's been talking about?" He's like, "No, I haven't. What is it?" "Oh, you know what? It's actually a coffee we sell online, and it helps release your happy hormones. You know, would you like to try some? I'll make you a cup." Literally, that's how stinking simple it is, you guys. We made him a cup of coffee. He was really open to it, really excited about, and then asking for more information on how to place the order. But we had to ask the question, right? Because if you don't ask the question, it's always going to be a no. Somebody else is going to ask that question, and then you're going to be kicking yourself you didn't. Okay, I've lived that reality in the past, so I'm telling you now. But really, you guys, it's just having that urgency, having that boldness, you know, letting go of any negativity, letting go of any judgment, and just being willing to allow yourself to dream a little bit. You know, when I got started here, I didn't have tremendous belief in myself. I really didn't. I didn't have like these big dreams. I wasn't led by big dreams. Okay. For some people they are. For some people it's the dream house. For some people it's the dream car, or the this or the that or the vacation or whatever it may be. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. That just wasn't me. When I got started, it was literally, I was driven by my pain point. Okay. My pain point was needing to change our financial situation. So that meant that every training that was on, I was on it. That meant that every day, even though I didn't really want to make a post on social media, even though I didn't really want to reach out to people and have bold conversations, I was doing it. You know, even though I really just wanted to unplug and hang out and watch movies with my husband, I was getting to work. And, you know, you guys, it just changed everything. And so my encouragement to you is to, you know, whether you're motivated by a thing or an experience, I want you to think about what it's going to feel like when you get there. You know, if you've got kids, what are your kids going to say? What's it going to sound like? What's it going to feel like? Like, you know, I want you to really dive into that and let that be the thing that helps you to be really consistent. Let that be the thing that helps you to be really, really bold. And it will make all of the difference. You know, let me see. I have a couple more things written down. I want to make sure I'm not forgetting anything here. But really, you guys, it's just making sure that you have that vision. You understand what it's going to feel like when you get there. You share with boldness. You don't hold back. And you're not worried about the conversations of others. You know, the most important opinions are the ones that are within your walls of your home. Okay. End of story. Like, that's just it. And I had, like I said, I had to get really, really firm with myself and have that real talk of, you know, what matters most. And it was those kids that I was looking at. It's my husband. That right there is the most important things that I had to answer to. Anybody else? Like, guys, I mean, I'm going to have to filter this a little bit, but I was kind of like, you know what? Either you get on board or you get out of the way. That honestly was how I was feeling with it, because I knew I had to make that happen for my family. And that's kind of the place you have to be when you're really wanting to do this. You know, if you want to go on a slower pace or a faster pace, it doesn't matter. Like, you know, you're going to have support within your upline, within your team. People are going to love you and want to help you no matter what. But whatever it is that you want to create from this, just don't allow yourself to get in the way. That's the main thing. Get out of your own way. Get out there. Have fun with this. Be bold. And hopefully at least one person got some value out of this. I'm still sweating. You can probably see it at this point. But I love you guys, and thank you so much for hopping on. And I will pass it back to Judy.
Oh my gosh, Melissa, that was truly incredible. You want to talk about value, and you couldn't have said it any better. You know, when I think about take action Thursday and what this, what this is going to do for all of us. We're going to get to learn, and your story is incredible, you guys. If you think Melissa Loucas, 5 children, she's doing this full time, and she's created an incredible business. So Melissa, thank you so much for launching the Take Action Thursday tonight. I know that we got a lot of value. We had over almost 350 people on this Zoom tonight, girls. So you want to talk about excitement, right? So I want to say inaction breeds doubt and fear. Action breeds confidence and courage. If you want to conquer fear, do not sit home and think about it. Go out and get it, just like Melissa did, right? And so don't forget, we have Sunday, we have our opportunity Zoom. So this is a great lead-in. Get your people on that call. This is an opportunity for you to share why all of us are so excited about what Melissa said. Have you heard about the happy coffee everyone's talking about? So I'm going to go ahead and unmute everybody. And if you want to say good night, but let's thank Melissa for doing such an incredible job.
Yeah, girl.
Thank you, Melissa.
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 Very much.
Thank you, Melissa.
Melissa.
Wow, way to give it to us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Really great value.
Great job, inspiring.
Thank you.
But I can't see the name in the
Thank
thing.
you, guys.
That was right.